It's Shawn here for Streaming Media Producer, and today we're going to be having a look at the Adorama Flashpoint line of cinema DSLR gear. Now we're going to start off with the matte box, we're going to move on to the shoulder rig, the follow focus, and we'll finish off this review with their 7-inch LCD monitor. Beside me here I have a Sony FS700 video camera. So it's not in the DSLR line, but on Adorama's site they do feature the FS100 video camera. I've got the 700 here, and I figured I'd show this one off because it's a typical arrangement. I'm not big on the DSLRs myself anyways, but this is the what I want to show off. So the matte box here, the purpose of this, you got French flags, and this is really to protect the lens and the camera and the imager and the sensor all from stray light. Flare coming in really reduces your picture quality. And unless you're J.J. Abrams and you want those dramatic lens flare effects, which are very hard to control, a French flag is one really efficient way at reducing the light. It works way better than the petal hoods on a DSLR lens. It just covers a larger area. Everything's adjustable. It's strong, it's rigid. I can adjust the tension using the knobs down here. It's very well made. One of the features as well of a matte box and French flag system is that it has filter rings. So these are a standard 4x4 filter ring. You can put in a variety of lens filters on here. Generally people like putting in ND filters when they're using DSLRs, and one of the big reasons is that DSLRs lack neutral density filters, and if you want to achieve a shallow depth of field and you don't want to be running your shutter speed way up into the thousands, adding in neutral density filter helps. I don't have any in here right now, but there are two available on this matte box system. They just slide into the top and go down like that. Now, one of the neat things about this one, and most systems really, is that you want it to be able to rotate, because rotating the filter is very important when it comes to having a polarizer filter. Polarizers need to be rotated. ND filters and a lot of other filters just drop it straight in, but on a polarizer you definitely want that ability to rotate it, and this matte box has it. The matte box itself, it mounts onto a rail and rod system here. This is a standard 15mm rod. It's well built, it's industry standard. It's mounted here on a riser block, and I've got my own tripod plate. So the way it kind of works is your tripod plate goes onto your tripod, the mounting block, you've got the rods. There's a quick release plate here that's supplied, as well as a new tripod plate. My little pet peeve with this tripod plate is that the plate itself doesn't seem to be compatible with any of my existing tripods or ones that I find are common. The ones that I use are Vinton tripods, and I know that's not very compatible with really any of the systems out there, but the Manfrotto, the 501 plate, that's very standard and it's a very standard quick release. It doesn't work in that system there, and I kind of expected it would, which, it goes to that compatibility and that just ease of use. If I've got that Manfrotto 501 plate, I can slide it in on a variety of my accessories, including my crane and my slider, but this quick release plate is of a different size. Is that the end of the world? Not really, because I can replace the quick release plate if I wanted to, but it's just one of those little things, those little small details that if I was to be designing this, I would have it a standardized Manfrotto plate, just because it seems to be what a lot of people are using out there. In order to increase the compatibility of the matte box with a wide variety of lenses that have differing sizes, Adorama is shipping a bunch of neoprene rings here that help bridge the gap between the lens and the matte box. All you do is you simply slide it around the front of the lens like so. There's 3 different sizes, so it'll fit pretty much all your lenses. And then this part goes into the front of the matte box, and it just bridges the gap between the larger opening of the matte box and the diameter of the lens there. Really, once again, the whole purpose of a matte box in this application is to make sure stray light isn't hitting that lens. Moving on to the follow focus, Adorama has a stepped gear follow focus system, which is really what most systems are built upon. And a step gear really means that a large turn on the outer ring equals a smaller turn on the inside, meaning you can have a lot more precise control over your focus. The lens that I'm using here is a Rokinon 24mm T1.5 cine lens on an E-mount, which is native with this FS700 Sony E-mount camera. Included in the Adorama Follow Focus Kit is an add-on external gear system here. This really is just to modify an existing SLR lens and add on gears on the outside. It's ribbed on both sides, so the inside it grips onto the rubber part, the collar on your focus ring, and then the outside matches up with the gear system here. So you don't need cine lenses to use a follow focus, and these are very easy to convert your existing lens system to a gear system. Having a step gear system really adds to the precision in trying to hit a focus mark when you're trying to repeat that or to do it on the fly. But it's another thing to have marks already pre-rehearsed and locked in, and the Adorama Follow Focus system allows you to do that. There's these blue pins here. You just unscrew them and turn, and you can lock them down. So essentially what you do is you would find the starting point where you're in focus on one object. You'd mark that. And then to complete a rack focus, you'd find a second point, maybe a second object you want to focus on, and you'd mark that here as well. And then all you do to achieve your rack focus while you're live is to turn between these two blue marks, and you can nail your focus and your rack focus perfectly every time. One of the really nice things about the Adorama Flashpoint components is that you can combine them to make systems, and a lot of the parts, well, they're all designed really to be interchangeable. A good example of that is the shoulder rig. You can see here, here's the backing mount, and what I would do is I would mount this on the back of the rails here, and then you'd have the handles that go on the front. This obviously goes through the rail system. I'd have a set of handles here, and I can take this off the sticks and go handheld. I can also have this attached at the same time on here, but I know myself really well. I don't really go handheld, especially with a rig like this. It's a little bit on the heavy side for me, but if you have a lighter DSLR, or if you really want to push and go for it, you definitely can. So it's a very modular system. If I want it, I can have it mounted on there. I can put it on for later. But in general, it's really designed to be a compatible system and interchangeable and modular.